I'm just waiting for some noise to die down, guys. I don't know if it's going to. Thank you, everyone, and thanks so much for joining live today. And if you're joining afterwards, thank you. Hope you enjoy it then as well. First things first, guys. I want to say thank you to every single one of you that have subscribed to my channel. Guys, we are over 500. 500. And I was just sent something that put it into perspective of that I could feel a gosh, I forgot, like a large plane. That's 500 people, and I was like, geez, okay, that's a little a little different perspective considering when you're doing this. That's a lot of work, and you're so focused on the drive and getting everything going that 500 was such a long and hard road that when someone steps back to tell you where you're actually at, it actually felt very, very good. But with that being said, next stop is 1,000, and I'm pretty sure that that's not going to take long, guys. I appreciate every one of you, and I just wanted to stop and actually say thank you. So today we are on the MSC Grandiosa, and we are currently docked at MSC's Ocean Cay. And it is a beautiful island. It is very different than maybe if you hear a private island, maybe what you might think if you have cruised a different line. But MSC's private island is about the ocean. It is about nature. It is about relaxing and just enjoying not only yourself, but just time. I have never had another feeling, and I have heard it time and time again from people that when they're on this island, they're like, oh, I want to go back. I so want to go back. So good thing for MSC. It's definitely very positive. You can tell it's still fun. There may not be a theme park, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There is no problem having fun on this island. There is plenty to do. So I'm actually filming on the balcony here, guys, because where I intended to film, which was inside with a window so that I wouldn't have to deal with some of the distraction, is actually holding a private event. I think someone got married and they're actually using the Sky Lounge, which is a beautiful lounge, as their after party kind of situation. So congratulations to them, but that is why I'm actually sitting out here on the balcony versus the Sky Lounge upstairs. So here, I wanted to talk a little bit about MSC as a whole. I have had so many questions about MSC, and they're not just your simple questions. It is, well, what do I get for the price? And well, what's the vibe? And then, of course, there's the food. Speaking of food, they're actually taking food over right now, so if you hear really loud noises, it's quite a few floors down that you hear. The noise kind of travels. So I have sailed the Meraviglia, which is the very first ship through MSC that I actually did. And from there I went to the MSC Seashore. And from the difference between the two and here and the Grandiosa is very, very similar to the Meraviglia. So with that being said, I kind of knew what to expect, them being so similar. But I've also sailed, as you guys know, if you've seen my movies there, the videos, I've also sailed the Seashore, which is a completely different ship. I mean, like night and day, not even close to being the same ship. But when I sailed the Meraviglia in the very beginning, I understood that the feeling was a little bit different. It was definitely, if I had to categorize it, I would say that it was a little less, and I'm going to use air quotes, American friendly, and it was more European, which makes perfect sense because they were here to do a job and to do it very well, and that is very much a European kind of, there's no extra talk, there's no, how are you doing, da-da-da. It is, how are you, have a good day, and you move on. And I don't think maybe some people understood that. I will say though, it's been several years since I've been on the Meraviglia, 2.5 I think, since I've been on the Meraviglia, done 2 seashores in between, and now the Grandiosa. I can absolutely tell you that they have listened. Those surveys that you fill out at the end of the cruise, they are not just to make sure that those that have served you during the week get their accolades. It is also a good way to maybe get your point across after you've had some time to maybe just take a minute and think about it and say, hey, I really like this, but, or I really wish you had this or did that. Those things, they listened. They absolutely listened, because I know what the rumors were. I know what the murmurs were. I know what people were questioning and going, yeah, I don't like it because, or I wish, and night and day. Absolutely night and day. In the next few weeks, I will absolutely be going over the ship, the Grandiosa, because she's, even being on the Mirabilia, she is so different. If you like that open promenade feel with the shops in the middle, not open in the back, it's still closed off with windows on both sides. But if you like that kind of being able to stroll, getting a coffee or a glass of something to drink, or maybe get some chocolates or some ice cream or something. Also, the restaurants are closed off versus being open, like the seashore. And sometimes it's really hard to enjoy a dinner when you're having to listen to not only maybe, but then you have the hear the people there. That does not present at around the Grandiosa. And you don't, like I said, I'll be going into it the next few weeks, letting you know all the ins and outs from the embarkation to the very end. And I promise you there is plenty in between. So far, we've actually really enjoyed ourselves. Embarkation, I'll definitely be going over because it was very different from anything that I have ever done. I definitely had some questions. I do have some concerns. And no, guys, it's not just because I'm not in the yacht club this time. So I don't want to see the comments about that. And that's probably some of my family that would say that, haha. But no, that's not why. I actually tried to get some answers out of a few people, and they were like, we don't know. We don't know why it was so different. So if that is something that's going to interest you, definitely make sure you're subscribed and go into that later, because I'll be going into that, because I really do think it's something that people do need to know. But we've definitely enjoyed ourselves. The staff so far, very, very good. The food has been very good. We've had breakfast. We've had breakfast at one of the specialty restaurants. We've had late night snacks. The normal stuff that we normally do. But we've enjoyed ourselves. I will say though, so if anybody notices, I'm a little bit tired this trip. It has been a lot pushing out some of the content lately with some of the other things I've been dealing with. So if I look a little tired, please forgive me. I am, but I am fine, and I'm still enjoying myself. With that being said, the filming on this particular series is a little bit different, because I do have hubby with me this time, and I am trying to take some time for myself to actually breathe and relax. And like he said sometimes I just wish you didn't have a camera in your hand, and I wish that we could just pause and take a moment, because when you're a content creator, you're immediately like, oh, that's new, I need to make sure people know about it, or oh wow, I didn't know that happened, and I need to make sure that people know about that. Your brain's just forever going, at least mine, I can speak for myself, my brain's forever going, and I'm making sure that if something has changed, or there's something that was an issue for me, or a problem for me, or good gracious, I'm like, wait, hold on, let me film that, because if it was an issue for me or a problem for me, or I found it interesting or intriguing, I want to share it with you. So that is how my brain is always working. So I am taking a little more time, hopefully, to take a breath and get right back to it so we can get to that 1,000. I am definitely thankful on this particular ship, that I'm able to relax. And that means that the vibe, and yes, everyone has fun, and yes, sometimes people are outside and they're a little louder than they need to be at night, but overall, and trust me, I've been from A to Z, and you guys know that, everyone seems to really be enjoying themselves. And that can't happen if people aren't having a good time on the ship. And I don't mean just, libations. I mean actually having a good time on the ship. If something was wrong with their room, they're not going to be as happy. If they weren't enjoying the food, they're not going to be as happy. There's certain things that continue that good experience on a ship, and you can tell just by hearing the people and seeing the people, and again, as always, I'll end up talking to some and just kind of getting their opinions. Is this their first time on MSC? Is it something they just keep coming back to? I'll definitely get those answers for you, as always. But I'm glad to say that everyone really seems to be enjoying themselves. The thermal spa is very nice on this ship. I will say that it's one thing I miss when I go on a different line is the thermal spa here. It's just so nice. I mean, I don't know any other way to say it. And if you haven't seen my other videos in the different series on Mirabilia and Seashore, definitely go back and look at that because they're pretty much the same. As always, the ship's going to be laid out a little bit different, but they you still have your whirlpool that is good for circulation and just kind of relaxing. You have your showers, your cold and hot showers where you start out in cold and go to hot, or start out in hot and go cold. You have your salt room, your ice room. Everything is pretty much the same, but I'm not going to share where I am class-wise this time or anything. You have to wait for the video, but there were certain things that we get to experience being where we are. I'm probably giving it away, and that's fine. That's okay. Since we weren't in the yacht club, we wanted to make sure that we still got to experience. So that's all I'll say about that. And if you figured it out, you figured it out. That's fine. I mentioned earlier that I had planned to film in the Sky Lounge. For those of you who know me and have watched me, you guys know I like to have fun, but I also like to relax, and I like my quiet space on the ship. On the series that you guys are watching right now, they had an observation lounge that was just, in the morning we got our Starbucks, we sat there, and it was so quiet, and you just got to experience the sunrise. And of course it got livelier as the day went on and as people found it, but they do have something similar to that, and it's an adult only area in the Sky Lounge, so that does make a difference as well. And the staff was so friendly in there, and I actually got met by someone as I was leaving telling me that is the best place to be on the ship. He said the people at the bar were really nice. He said I had a great time. He says it was just a good atmosphere. So there you go. So that is why I wanted to film in there, guys, but that's okay. We'll get back to that later. And I see so many great comments about MSC, and I'll admit when I see someone say that they hated MSC, and I mean actually use the word hated MSC, I'm stunned. I mean, I'm actually stunned. Now, I admit, guys, that I am more of an optimistic person, and I try to see the glass half full, but I'm not ignorant to know that it's also half empty, So I'm very thrown back, because even with my experience in the beginning, being on Mirabilia, and again, cruising on American lines, it was different, but I loved it enough to continue. I loved it enough to try it out on the Seashore and go, okay, it's not one and done. It's let's see. And like I said, from the time I went to the Seashore, it was not even a year. From the time I went from Mirabilia to Seashore, completely different. Seashore the second time, even better. And now Grandiosa. You can see the changes that they have implemented, and it matters. It truthfully matters. I say that there's a ship for everyone, and I truthfully mean that. There's a ship for everyone. So if you don't like MSC, that's fine. But I get so many comments, and I mean so many comments from people saying, I have read, and I heard, and I saw, or I'm worried. And it just, take it with a grain of salt. Please take it with a grain of salt, and find the things that are interesting to you, and hopefully those things are good, and you move from there. But for the value, and truthfully, the ambiance and the elegance that you still get for the value. So it's not like, I hate to use the word value, but it's the best that I can use to say it. You're still getting a beautiful ship. You're still getting, what I consider a very clean, lined looking ship. Everything flows, and again, the staff is very friendly, so for that, I don't understand why people wouldn't. And those that have tried it and have come back and said, hey, and this is on the different platforms that I'm on, they've said, oh my God, we love this, we love that, we did this, we did that, we're going back. Some have even booked on this ship. So there is just as much good, if not more. We all know that we take more time to do a bad review than we do a good one. So I think that there's plenty out there to say good. You can hear people having some fun right now, and it's okay. So hopefully you can still hear me because my mic does not work with this camera. So there's enough good out there that I think you should give it a try. I would definitely say with that, I do understand some of the inhibitions from the very beginning, if that's where you got your impression from, but I would say that MSC has listened, and they are popping out those ships left and right. They got 2 more coming. So they're not going anywhere, guys. They're totally not going anywhere. So I would say, give it a try. Look and do your research. And if you're not watching me, which I know you are, but watch someone that is going to give you not just their opinion, but give you enough information to form your own opinion. That's what I hope that, is why you're watching me, because I'm just going to give you the facts, and then you can find your happy medium somewhere, amongst all that's going on. I did mention, that we're here at the private island in Ocean Cay, and I don't know if any of you have watched the Yacht Club series. I was letting you know, and I actually included some of the pictures, and it's right behind me on the other side of the ship here, that they were building another private island. So when MSC listened, they're rowing up, down, and out. The island, which, like I said, will be my upcoming series that is right here, is going to be for Yacht Club and Explorer. I was told that when I was in Yacht Club this last time. I, for some reason, just thought it was going to be like a private island kind of experience. No. Now, it is a third of the size of Ocean Cay here. However, it is not small by any means, but it is going to be an experience. If you're not familiar with Explorer, Explorer is an elite yacht line. So you've got, the Yacht Club ship and then a ship experience here. That is a much more, it's a much nicer line. It's a yacht that is strictly owned by MSC, and it's very, very nice. And I know a lot of people aren't familiar with it, but then when I say Explorer, that's what I'm referring to. So it says that there could be other things going on there. So if I find out any information, I'll let you know. But as of right now, that's how it is being told to us, that basically this is what's going to be coming. So again, like I said, they're not going anywhere. They're building as fast as they can, keeping in mind that island, as well as Ocean Cay here, is nature centered, that it is ocean centered and sea life centered. They have a new, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it here. Let me see if I can get it. The teal building that you see, let's see if I can get my finger right for you. This building right here is actually the new ocean, kind of like a little museum that if you want to go yourself, you can kind of see it goes a little further out there. So all of this right here, this little white building, actually has ocean water being pumped into those little, I don't know what, little pools, I guess you would call it. And trying to get my camera back right for you guys. The little pools, so that children or you can actually experience sea life and start learning about the coral and learning about the different things to make the island, what it is. They very much, I'm wearing the MSC Foundation hoodie right now, knowing where this island started from. And if you don't know the story, I've told you before, but go back and look at the story of how Ocean Cay was actually formed. It's a very, very good story. And they're, like I said, they're growing, and I personally think that it is amazing. And I like when a company at least tries to do something good. We all know that things are going to happen, but at least I think it's good that they continue to try and strive to do what is right, considering we're on a cruise ship. You know what I mean. Trying to make sure that I have done all this. Hopefully you guys can hear me, because there's definitely some people having a wonderful time. You know what? I'm so glad. It just continues my thought of those that say you can't have a good time. That's on you. I've told you that before. Choose joy. So with that, I will say that the series will be coming out in the next couple weeks for you guys, and hopefully you can have enjoyed a little bit of the view here of the private island. Let me see if I can get you a little peek here. I am back around the corner, so I can't show you guys the lighthouse. You can go to one of my videos on the MSC Seashore, the Mega Valley, if you would like to see the lighthouse, but I'll get that later. So with that, again, I do want to thank you guys so very, very much for being here on the channel, joining the community here with Tiff Travel. For without you, I would just be sitting here talking to a camera, and that's weird. So thank you for being a part of the community. I hope that each and every one of you are able to support each other in their travels, whatever they may be. If you can answer questions when someone has a question out there, I try to be as friendly and as open to you guys when you ask a question. I'm trying my hardest to answer every one of your questions. So never a bad question, guys. If you have a question, ask. I'm not going to hurt anybody, so ask away. But new video every Tuesday. So tomorrow will be the next video in the next series on the NCL Joy. And yeah, each Tuesday there will be a new series. There's a couple of weeks we'll have the Grandiosa up there for you guys. So with that, we're going to go back to the adventure. I thank you so much for joining me. I really hope that you have a good day wherever you may be. And as always, travel more, live life, find your joy. And until the next adventure, guys. See you later. Bye, guys. Again, thanks so much. I really appreciate you guys and the 500. Here comes the 1,000, guys. Love ya. Bye.